So with Bud Dupree suffering a season-ending ACL injury and the Steelers win over the Baltimore Ravens this past Wednesday, how does Bud Dupree's injury affect the Pittsburgh Steelers for not only the remainder of the season, but for the future of the Steelers going forward? Now, I told people on Instagram, on the Pittsburgh Steelers Instagram page, that Bud Dupree played his last game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And a lot of Steeler fans got mad at me. They were saying, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. He's going to be back. We can franchise tag him again. I said, let's be honest. Bud Dupree is not coming back. Bud Dupree is going to get signed by another team in free agency. And there were a lot of people in the comment section that were saying, JT, he just tore his ACL. That's going to affect his contract. No team is going to pay him a lot of money. That's going to help us in contract talks. I mean, it is. It's going to lower his price. But it's not going to lower his price all that much. I mean, the guy had 8 sacks in 11 games. He was probably on pace to have like 15, maybe 16 sacks at most. So even though he did suffer an ACL injury, and that is kind of going to lower the amount of money that he can ask for, there are still going to be more teams that can offer Bud Dupree more money than what the Steelers can. You guys got to understand something. The Steelers heading into this season franchise Bud Dupree with the expectation that they were trying to win right now. Okay, that's why they brought back Bud Dupree. They were trying to assemble the best roster possible for this season. They knew coming in that they weren't going to be able to keep Bud Dupree after this year. Okay, that's why they decided to bring back Bud Dupree for one more year. And when you look at the Steelers' cap situation, the cap situation was already in bad shape last year. Like, remember, the Steelers front office had to rework some contracts and move some things around just to even being able to offer a guy like Cam Hayward a contract and get something worked out. So now this offseason, even if you did want to try to sign Bud Dupree, the salary cap for the NFL is probably going to go down because of the COVID situation and everything like that. So the Steelers are already in a little bit of a cap situation already. Then with the cap expected to go down, you got to sign Juju Smith-Schuster. You got to get a deal worked out with James Conner. I just don't really see a scenario that the Steelers are going to be able to bring back Bud Dupree. Now, I would love to see Bud Dupree back for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Steelers uniform next season, but let's just be honest, I don't really think that's pretty realistic to expect that to happen. There are going to be a lot of teams out there that, yeah, Bud Dupree may not get a lot of money because of his ACL injury, but he's still going to get offered a pretty decent contract, and a lot of teams are going to be able to offer him way more money than what the Steelers are going to be able to offer him, unless Big Ben takes a big pay cut. And when I say big pay cut, a huge pay cut, that's the only way the Steelers really have a chance of being able to put a deal together and giving Bud Dupree a somewhat respectable deal. But I don't really expect Ben Roethlisberger to take a pay cut. So you got Bud Dupree who has to get paid. You got James Conner who has to get paid. You have Juju Smith-Schuster who has to get paid. And Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't think he's going to take a hometown discount. Regardless of how much he may love playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think Juju takes a pay cut. If we're being honest, I think Juju is going to try to get as much money as humanly possible out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't even think the Steelers may even try to franchise tag Juju. Being honest with you. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you saw this coming. That's why the Steelers drafted Chase Claypool in this past year's NFL draft. That's why the Steelers drafted Alex Highsmith, the rookie outside linebacker out of the University of Charlotte. The Steelers saw this coming, which is why they prepared, which is why they drafted their potential replacements. Juju's replacement is going to be Chase Claypool. Okay? Bud Dupree's replacement is going to be Alex Highsmith. So now with Bud Dupree out for the remainder of the year and pretty much done as a Pittsburgh Steeler unless a miracle happens, Alex Highsmith is going to be the guy who fills in for Bud Dupree. Now, Alex Highsmith, the rookie out of Charlotte, is a player who the Steelers and Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff were really high on during training camp. He had a really good training camp, despite training camp being really short. But there were a lot of Steelers coaches, including Mike Tomlin, who were raving about Alex Highsmith. They really like Alex Highsmith a lot. And it shows because Alex Highsmith hasn't even played a lot of snaps, and he already has a pretty good stat line. Like, he has a sack, a couple of tackles for loss, he has an interception. So imagine what Alex Highsmith is going to be able to do now that he's going to be the full-time starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's going to end up filling that role of Bud Dupree pretty good. Now, I'm not expecting him to come in and have Bud Dupree kind of production right off the bat, but I do think he's going to have a pretty solid remainder of his rookie season. And also, you guys understand something. With Bud Dupree being injured, everybody's going to try to double team TJ Watt, which sounds good, but at the end of the day, you still have to worry about Stephon Tuitt, and you still have to worry about Cam Hayward. So you can double team and put all your attention on TJ Watt all you want to. At the end of the day, you still are going to have to figure out a way to stop Stephon Tuitt, and you're going to have to figure out a way to stop Cam Hayward. And at the end of the day, if everybody's keying in on trying to stop TJ Watt, that's going to open up opportunities for Alex Highsmith to make plays as well. So a lot of people are trying to make it seem like with Bud Dupree going down, like it's going to, dramatically affect the Steelers pass rush, which it is, but it's not going to have a big impact that a lot of people expect it to. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Bud Dupree, but a lot of people have to remember, Bud Dupree just came on last year in 2019. The Steelers' defensive line was good when a lot of people were considering Bud Dupree a bust. So I don't really think the Steelers are going to have a big drop-off in terms of production with Bud Dupree being injured. I'm not saying that they're going to be as good as what they were with Bud Dupree as a starter. I'm just saying that the drop-off in production is going to be what a lot of people are expecting it to be, because a lot of people are making it seem like if you double-team TJ Watt, you're going to stop the Steelers' pass rush. No, you're not. Okay, because if anything, if you double team TJ Watt, that's going to put you at more of a disadvantage, because what about Stephon Tuitt? What about Cam Hayward? Both of those guys are pretty much going to be in the running for being first team or second team all pros. And if we're being honest, those are also two guys who you also want to try to double team as well, because let's be honest, in one-on-one situations, Stephon Tuitt and Cam Hayward, those are not guys who can easily block up front in one-on-one matchups. So if you are any team that's going to be facing the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can double team TJ Watt all you want to, triple team and do whatever you want to. At the end of the day, you still have to worry about Stephon Tuitt. You still have to worry about Cam Hayward. Both those guys are two of the best at their positions. And you got rookie Alex Highsmith as well, who is going to benefit from teams having to key in and focus on TJ Watt getting all those double teams. So Bud Dupree, I think that unless a miracle happens, that his career as a Pittsburgh Steeler is pretty much done. I think he will end up signing with another team in the offseason and free agency, regardless of him coming back from an ACL injury or not. But hey, if Bud Dupree wants to come back and he wants to, have one more year with the Pittsburgh Steelers where he tries to get a max contract, then albeit to him, I could see that happening as well. But I don't really see a scenario that can really play out unless Ben Roethlisberger takes like a major pay cut, which I doubt he will, to try to bring back guys like Bud Dupree and Juju Smith-Schuster. So the future of Bud Dupree as a Pittsburgh Steeler, a lot of you guys may not want to accept the fact, but I told a lot of people heading into the season that this was going to be the last year that a lot of you guys see some of your favorite Steelers in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. And I said Bud Dupree and Juju Smith-Schuster were most likely going to be in that vote. I didn't think Juju Smith-Schuster was going to be able to come back after this year with the cap situation, and I don't think we were going to be able to keep Bud Dupree. I think that the Steelers only kept Bud Dupree for a one-year rental because they wanted to try to win a Super Bowl with the best roster humanly possible, which they have right now. So for the Steelers, your cap situation, you got to try to get James Conner re-signed, which I think James Conner shouldn't really be all that big of an issue. He grew up in Pittsburgh. He played his high school ball in Pittsburgh. He played college ball in Pittsburgh. I think you can pretty much sign James Conner to like a $20 million somewhat deal or something like that. I don't think James Conner's going to demand too much. Then you got to try to work out something with Juju. At best, you franchise tag Juju, but I could see Juju Smith-Schuster becoming a free agent. And Bud Dupree, I think he's 90% done in his career for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's going to end up playing with somebody else regardless of him coming off an ACL injury, because even though he's going to come off an ACL injury and teams can use that against him in contract negotiations, teams can still offer him more money than what the Steelers can. So let me know what you guys think about Bud Dupree, how Bud Dupree's injury is going to impact the Steelers for not only the remainder of the season, but moving forward as well for the future of the Steelers organization and this franchise.